Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Lord of the People. I set off a frenzy of plant alienation. Chapter 41. I don't know how much time has passed. Boom. The pitch-black worm ball composed of countless Zerg shattered in the sky. Finger-sized worms were cut open, bleeding green blood, and fell to the ground. Xiaoju is going to advance again. Suzy looked at Xiaoju, who had rushed out of the nine heavens again, and smiled slightly. At this time, the two leaves of Xiaoju exuded a faint golden light, standing above the Judean, with a chic feeling. Of course, it would be nice if it wasn't grass. Xiaoju evolves so fast. The little goblin looked up at the evolved Xiaoju, with a hint of envy in her eyes. She is only at the second level, but now Xiaoju is already at the third level. It is basically not helpful for the territory, which makes her very uncomfortable. She also wanted to help Suzy. Thinking. The little goblin glanced at Suzy beautifully. She was wondering if her temptation was not strong enough, otherwise why would the master be indifferent to her? If the master takes her, absorb the master's life essence every day. She can also climb up the level slowly like Xiaoju. Thinking so, the little fairy looked at Suzy with a hint of resentment in her eyes. Made Suzy a little bit inexplicable. But I didn't care too much. Maybe the little goblin was playing up some crooked ideas. Tier 3. The light on Xiaoju's body dissipated, and after 2 leaves, another leaf grew again. Now Xiaoju has returned to the original form of 3 leaves again. In just a few hours, Xiaoju has evolved from the first level to the third level. The speed of evolution can be described as flying. Unexpectedly, the 6th invasion. Instead, it was Xiaoju's chance. If the troops sent by the Zerg Mother Queen were of a high level, then Suzy would naturally not let Xiaoju leave the territory. After all, her level was too low at the time. But the Zerg didn't know what to think, and even sent some first and second tier soldiers and insects in the 6th wave. This is simply an opponent tailor-made for Xiaoju. And Xiaoju obviously took advantage of this opportunity. Now break through the 3rd rank in one fell swoop. It can even continue to evolve. In the fog. How long has it been? That grass has already reached the 3rd level, and the evolution is too fast. A Zerg queen said with envy when she saw Xiaoju's continuous evolution. The rules of the human territory. Every territory is integrated into the law of killing. It only needs to kill to become stronger. It is simply cheating. There was a Zerg mother emperor who was indignant, with a little jealousy in her eyes. Every evolution of their Zerg needs a long process. But the human race can achieve the evolution that they can take years or even decades to complete in just a few days. Not every human race is so powerful. That grass is probably a legendary hero in the mouth of the human race. It is very rare. I didn't expect that human race to have it. An experienced Zerg empress explained. 4th order. Alice stared wide-eyed at the grass. After killing the quartet in the Zerg, advance again. Only a small half of the hundreds of thousands of Zerg had been killed. But the grass seems to be tireless. On the contrary, the more they killed, the more fierce they became. Originally, the attack of the 1st level could only hit 1 meter, but now each sword light cuts at random, and it can reach tens of meters. Every slash must be accompanied by the fall of hundreds, or even thousands of Zerg. The hundreds of thousands of Zerg didn't seem to have caused her a single bit of damage. Instead, it allowed her to evolve. This moment. All the Zerg empresses are a little depressed. Although the Tier 4 Xiaosao looks very powerful, all the Zerg empresses present are at the top of Tier 6. They don't pay attention to the grass. Sending out a random empress is enough to destroy her. But because of the order of that highness, they can only watch here. It really frustrates them. Don't worry, today is just a test, and tomorrow is the time for us to attack. Some Zerg queens don't care. Today I just want to test the strength of the human lord. Now it seems that it is not weak, but it is far from reaching the level that makes them afraid. Until tomorrow, hundreds of Zerg mother queens dispatched together, and tens of millions of Zergs of all ranks could easily completely submerge the territory. Many Zerg empresses nodded, their hearts gradually calmed down. They are waiting for the 7th day to come. Within the rules. Use the weakened attack strength of the 6th day to infinitely increase the final 7th day. Give that human race lord a fatal blow. This is a strategy they have already formulated. Now, it's just a small fight, it's a harassment of the human territory. Fifth order. When the last Zerg was wiped out, a smile appeared in Susie's eyes. And in the distant sky, Xiaoju grew a slender green leaf again. At this time, Xiaoju had one leaf standing upright in the middle, and the other four surrounded it. Each leaf is crystal clear and translucent like a jewel, and the leaves are 3 meters long, which has already changed a lot from before. My lord, Xiaoju has completed the task. After the transformation, Xiaoju galloped towards the territory. With just 2 breaths, he had already covered a distance of tens of thousands of meters. Hey, Xiaoju can talk now. Susie's eyes widened, and he actually heard Xiaoju's voice in his mind. Not yet, this is mind communication. Xiaoju shook the blade and said, Master, is today's invasion over? Then the goblin asked. No. Susie shook his head, he didn't hear any prompt in his ear. It shows that the Zerg doesn't want to end like this. Really. At this moment, the gray fog in the distance surged again. Hundreds of thousands of low-level Zerg came again. Second wave. The third wave. Fourth wave. No. The clear moon hangs high, and the moonlight shines on the territory. Susie stood on the top of the wall and frowned slightly as he witnessed how many waves of Zerg were wiped out. From today's first wave of invasion, the Zerg has been sending these low-level bug soldiers to attack. For now, not even a tier 3 Zerg appeared. This is completely inconsistent with the attack intensity of the 6th wave. Susie sighed. You don't need to think about it, it must be the ghost of the Zerg Mother Queen. He didn't kill her yesterday, but he started to kill her today. Susie was suddenly interested. Tomorrow is the last day of the 7-day assessment. I don't know what kind of magical operation the Zerg Queen can play, and whether it will bring him some surprises. After all, it was the last day of the assessment, and Susie hoped that the offense would be as strong as possible. On the 7th day of assessment, it is not only about the final assessment and evaluation, but also the basis for the first ranking of Tianzhou ranking. That is to say, whether or not they can make it to the top list depends entirely on their performance on the 7th day. So, Susie very much hoped that the empress of that race would give him a big wave. It would be better to have more, so that he could kill as much as he wanted. Only in this way can he reach the top of the Tianzhou list. Yes, Susie's goal is to be number 1 on the Tianzhou list. I don't know this surprise, will the teacher like it? Before coming in, Susie said that he wanted to surprise the teacher. Originally, I only wanted to be on the Tianzhou list. But 100 times the difficulty of the assessment gave Susie a chance to reach the top. Susie didn't know that among the tens of millions of new lords, how many geniuses and monsters will there be? But he is confident that he who passed the trial with 100 times the difficulty is definitely the top group. Comma. Open black lens bracket kobold collar close black lens bracket. Guan Anshan strangled the last bug, and the green blood of the dead bug splashed all over him in an instant. But he didn't have the energy to care anymore. Tomorrow is the last day, and I can finally go out. Guan Anshan recalled what happened in the past 7 days, and it was simply unforgettable in his life. Originally arrogant, he was completely shattered by the blow. As for the Tianzhou contest, he still has some self-knowledge. That's not something he can be involved with. But after you go out, you must teach that boy Susie a lesson. He who became the official lord. Status is far from comparable to the eliminated Susie. Comma. Open black lens bracket dragon collar close black lens bracket. Qin Yi was a little lost, looking at the dozens of 5th order Zerg leaving in the sky. Behind him, it was the city wall that was almost torn apart, and behind him, there were only 5 wounded tier 3 cloud dragons left. It's over. Qin Yi was in a trance suddenly and sat down on the ground. He didn't understand why there were dozens of 5th order Zerg in just the 6th wave of invasion. The hundreds of 4th order sub-dragons he managed to accumulate were easily slaughtered without even a trace of resistance. Now, not to mention wanting to be on the Tianzhou list, even passing the 7th day assessment has become a problem. Open black lens bracket elf collar close black lens bracket. Comma. The battle is over. Start billing. Comma. Hearing the sound, Xiao Wanqing breathed a sigh of relief. In this invasion, there were originally hundreds of elves, but now there are only more than 50 left. Almost halfway there. But the rewards are also huge. Looking to the side, the elves who are constantly emitting golden light. A faint smile appeared in her beautiful eyes. Her unit is about to be promoted to Tier 5, and her territory will also be promoted to Tier 5. Possess 5th tier territories and arms. She already has the qualifications to hit the Tianzhou list. Thinking of this possibility, fiery fire burst out from Xiao Wanqing's eyes. Open black lens bracket Beeman collar close black lens bracket. Han Li sat on the head of a 100-meter tall golden beagle. In the distance, hundreds of bronze behemoths and silver behemoths were wantonly killing thousands of 5th Order Zerg. In just a few minutes, all the invading 5th Order Zerg were wiped out. The battle is over. Start billing. Rating. S grade. Due to 20 times the difficulty, recalculation. Evaluation. SS grade. Top 1 on the Tianzhou list, the ticket is already in hand. Han Li smiled lightly when he heard the reminder coming from his ear. The template of his awakened unit is a legendary template, Behemoth. At the same time, the family also prepared the unit token of Behemoth for him, allowing him to start the assessment with 20 times the difficulty from the beginning. For 6 days, he almost spent the time in torture. Even if it is 20 times the difficulty of the assessment, there are still no difficulties for him. And he was lucky to get a hero summoning token in the 4th wave of rewards, and he directly summoned a legendary golden beeman. Powerful and terrifying. Now, his territory and arms have all been promoted to the 6th level. It is even possible to hit the 7th Order territory at the end of tomorrow. With such a profound background, he doesn't believe that anyone can match him. Tomorrow's Tianzhou will be number 1. None other than him. Outside world. The internet led by Vermilion Bird is already full of quarrels, and everyone is arguing about who will be the first in this year's assessment. RU family, Yu Wushwang, from Moyun City, has awakened the excellent top-level unit template, the Earth Troll, which is an extremely terrifying unit. If paired with an epic-level unit, it will definitely have the strength to hit the first place. R. Qingshan City, by Mengmeng of the Bai family, heard that the awakened is the top model of excellence, Jade Rabbit. I heard that the Bai family prepared a legendary unit for her, Taiyan Jade Rabbit. She is worthy of the first place. Not necessarily. This year, I heard that there are even legend-level templates in other territories. Maybe our territory also has them, but they are hidden by those families. It is said that this trial is the most difficult one in the past 1,000 years. Maybe there will be many geniuses and monsters. Quote. Watch Vermilion Bird and other cities compete online for the talent of their respective cities. People in Qinghai City are relatively silent, because they haven't had a single person on the Tianzhou list for 4 or 5 years. In our Qinghai City, Qin Yi of the Qin family has awakened the sub-dragon template, and is also a top template. He has a great chance of being on the list of the top talents. Someone made a silent sentence. Ha ha ha, come on, it's just your poor place in Qinghai City. For hundreds of years, only one person has been on the list of Tianzhou, and it's still at the end. This year, Vermilion Bird led all major cities to produce a large number of geniuses. Qinghai City, you should recognize the reality. Quote. The sub-dragon template dares to speak out. There are 80 if not 100 people like us in Moyun City. Where the birds don't shit, they also want to enter the Tianzhou list. What do you think of the Tianzhou list? Do you think that anyone can be called a Tianzhou? I'm afraid you just want to laugh your ass off. The internet is full of mockery of Qinghai City. This made the people of Qinghai City grit their teeth angrily. Want to make a move to set off an internet war with a lot of mother content. But their words poke their hearts every sentence. Last time, in Qinghai City, the person on the Tianzhou list is still the Tianzhou girl named Lu Ruyan. The one who managed to break into the top 100 on the list, although there are more than 90. But it also won glory for Qinghai City for them, giving them a glimmer of hope. Make them proud for once. So that they can say, there are also people in Qinghai City who can be listed on the Tianzhou list. Maybe it's the ups and downs. Now 6 years have passed. There is no one in Qinghai City who is qualified to hit the list of Tianzhou. They also want to be proud and straighten their backs and say to the outside world, our Qinghai City also has Tianzhou. Pity. The more you look forward to, the more disappointed you will be. Year after year of disappointment, they were on the verge of despair. After all, Qinghai City is just an insignificant city in the territory of Vermilion Bird. Even the gods are just a few. Compared with those cities with profound heritage and full of gods, they can be described as remote mountains and wilderness. How do they stack up against those big city talents? Hey, if there is another person in Qinghai City this year, it would be great to be on the list of Tianzhou. Someone left a sigh. It's difficult. This year's so-called once-in-a-thousand-year trial is difficult. I heard that there are thousands of new lords in our city, but now there are only a few seedlings left who have been eliminated. As soon as this remark came out, there was a moment of silence. A's will come out tomorrow. It's a surprise that he has been able to survive the multiplied trials until now with a plant department. In Susie's rental house, Lu Ruyan, who was helping Susie clean up, was smiling. It could be seen that she was very happy. Not only is Susie coming out immediately, but also because becoming a lord is enough to ensure that Susie will have no worries for the rest of his life. So even if one day, she is gone, Susie can also live in peace and stability. Hey, stinky brother, my sister met you because she committed a crime in her previous life. She is both a teacher and a mother at home. Ding. The washing machine dinged, and Lu Ruyan took out the washed underwear and took them to the balcony to dry. Well, there's no smell. Her nose moved slightly, she approached and sniffed lightly, and Lu Ruyan's pretty face flushed. I hurriedly looked around and was relieved to find that no one was there. Then hurriedly hung up the boxer briefs, hurriedly left, and prepared to continue cleaning the living room. Suddenly, Lu Ruyan's expression changed, and a look of pain appeared on his face. Puff. A mouthful of blood spattered all over the ground. Simultaneously, a crack suddenly appeared between Lu Ruyan's brows, spreading in all directions. Lu Ruyan sighed, her fingers glowed, and she touched the center of her eyebrows to cover up the cracks. Another crack. Looking through the void, Lu Ruyan saw the core of her territory. The crack that almost spread to the core of the entire territory. It seemed that it was about to crack and shatter in the next moment. I'm afraid I won't be able to accompany my brother for a few years now. Shaking his head, Ruyan Lu ignored it. After a few days to get the piece of Godhead, it is possible to extend his life for a few more years. But it is only a temporary solution, not a permanent cure. The battle is over. Start billing. It's over. 11 o'clock at night. Accompanied by the lightning shot by Leda, the last bit of bugs were roasted into charcoal and turned into fly ash. A reminder sounded in Susie's ear. Open black lens bracket war settlement close black lens bracket. Enemies. 3 million Tier 1 soldiers, 4 million Tier 2 soldiers. The result of the war. Big victory. Evaluation. SSS level. Reward. 3,000 source crystals, 300 source points. Due to 100 times the difficulty and 1,000 times the reward, recalculate. Evaluation. SSS plus. Reward. 1 million source crystals, 30,000 source points. Rubbish. Susie cursed directly when he saw the hinted reward. Send the beggar. Susie couldn't help complaining. At the same time, he completely hated the Zerg Mother Emperor. Their feud has grown. These 2 days have cost him a lot. However, with the addition of the 1 million source crystals and 30,000 source points, we can barely upgrade the territory again. Thinking about it, Susie clicked on the territory panel. In the gray mist, Alice, who was frantically manufacturing soldiers in the insect nest, suddenly trembled. What happened? Alice's tentacles were a little uneasy, and she felt as if she was being targeted. But don't know who it is. Could it be dangerous to besiege that human race tomorrow? Alice couldn't believe it, but that was the only explanation. If things go wrong tomorrow, run for your life. Alice murmured in her heart. Stability is the Zerg's first principle of action. You consume 60,000 source crystals, 6,000 source points, and your territory is promoted to level 60. Your territory has been upgraded to Tier 7. Close black lens bracket. It's the 7th step. Susie sighed. There are still some sources left. Susie intends to continue to improve. You consume 600,000 source crystals, 30,000 source points, and your territory is promoted to level 61. Open black lens bracket. You consume 650,000 source crystals, close black lens bracket. Sorry, your source points are insufficient. Close black lens bracket. Suzy. Suzy frowned. Upgrading to the 7th level is considered to be an advanced level. But this source crystal has doubled tenfold, isn't it a bit exaggerated? And the source point has also doubled several times. Suzy couldn't help feeling a little tired. There are thousands of rewards in the trial, which is enough to support the upgrade of his territory. But after the trial, how should he obtain the source crystals and source points that are so huge that they are shocking? Suzy frowned. I hope I can come to Boda tomorrow and let me have a good meal before I leave. Hint. Your territory core has unlocked new attributes. Close black lens bracket. Just after upgrading the territory, a reminder came from Suzy's eyes. Hey, World Tree has unlocked new attributes. Suzy's eyes lit up. Without hesitation, put the small treasure chests piled up outside the city into the inventory. Suzy took a brisk walk and flew directly under the World Tree. Open the territory panel. Open black lens bracket. World Asylum. Close black lens bracket. World Shelter. Quality. Supreme. Attribute 1. Secret cover, Avenue Shield. Attribute 2. The territory is all spiritual soil, and the cultivation speed x 10,000%. Attribute 3. Growth experience of territorial plant units x 10,000%. Attribute 4. Territory plant growth speed x 10,000%. Attribute 5. The territory is indestructible and indestructible. Attribute 6. Territory area plus 1,000 per day. Attribute 7. Blur. Attribute 8. Unknown. Open black lens bracket. Blur. Close black lens bracket. Function. Standing in reality, but hidden in the void. Defense level. Territory level plus 5. Introduction. You can see me, but you just can't hit me. Comma. This attribute is wonderful. When Suzy saw the 7th new attribute, a golden light burst into his eyes. What is the biggest weakness of being a lord? Undoubtedly the core of the territory. I don't know how many lords there are every year, because when they come to the universe see with their territories. The house was stolen and the core of the territory was destroyed. Eventually lead to the destruction of the territory. And with this property, Suzy can guarantee the absolute safety of his territory. Even if the enemy discovers his territory, they can only watch. But could not attack him. At a critical moment, maybe Suzy could save his life by hiding in the territory. This property, undoubtedly, it raised Suzy's survivability to the extreme. Territory level plus 5. Suzy noticed the defense level of the virtualization. Based on his current 7th level territory, add 5 levels up. That is to say, with the property of virtualization, it is difficult for a high god to break through the virtual attribute. With this in mind, Suzy couldn't help feeling a little shocked. High god, you must know that the Lord of Vermilion Bird is also the upper god. Even in the cosmic sea, the upper god is the real top powerhouse. Its territory has even evolved into a small universe. A single blow is enough to destroy the sea of stars and thousands of worlds. But Suzy's territory is enough to make the upper god helpless. The attributes of the world tree are becoming more and more against the sky. Suzy couldn't help feeling. Attribute 1. Covered by secrets and shielded by avenues, it means that he will never be calculated, killed and ambushed when he descends to another world. Attribute 2. The land is full of spiritual soil. In the future, subordinate races will be accommodated. You will never have to worry about insufficient cultivation resources, and the speed of cultivation has been increased by 100 times. Suzy feels lucky for the subordinate races. The third attribute allows Suzy's arms and heroes to become stronger even while lying down. Attribute 4. Other people's spiritual plants mature in a year or a few years, and his territory only needs a few days. It's just against the sky. Attribute 5. Indestructible and indestructible. So far I don't know how many times Suzy has resisted attacks to ensure that the territory is as stable as a mountain. Attribute 6. Because the territory has been upgraded too fast these days, this attribute does not seem to be reflected, but when you leave the territory, you will know its powerful effect. Attribute 7. Visible but not touchable, it is also a top-level life-saving skill. 7 attributes, 3 of which are life-saving, directly bring safety to the full level. It is indeed the core of the Supreme Lord. Even the legendary level is hard to compare with. With such attributes, Suzy has no worries in the future. As long as he keeps getting stronger, he can move towards the road of becoming a god step by step. I hope the storm will be more violent. Suzy looked at the gray fog and smiled slightly. Then turned back to the house to rest. Tonight was another night of torment by goblins. On the 7th day, when the golden crow breaks dawn, Suzy was already standing on the city wall, looking quietly into the distance. In the distance, gray fog billows. From time to time, phantoms of giant beasts tens of meters high loomed in the fog, and then quickly disappeared. Sighed. The little fairy held Suzy's arm, interlocked her fingers, and leaned half-body on Suzy's shoulder. She can't be of much help in the war, but no matter what happens, she can face it with Suzy. Xiaoju stands in the void, with 6 green leaves that are as sharp as a sword, swaying in the wind. There is a faint sword light waiting for the opportunity to move, and when the time is right, a stormy sword light will inevitably erupt. In just one day, it has entered the 6th level. One can imagine how crazy she was in the 6th wave of invasion. City wall. Rows of Tier 6 and Tier 5 artillerymen stood ready, their muzzles firmly aimed at Wei Mist. 4 corners. 4 defensive buildings. The 7th Order Explosion Flame Tower. The tower is hundreds of meters high, and the attack range is tens of thousands of meters. At the core of the Explosion Flame Tower, a light spot like a small sun rotates slowly, ready to deliver a fatal blow at any time. The 7th Order Arrow Tower is already the maximum potential of blue quality equipment. At this time, rows of arrows are already hanging on the top of the tower. In the 7th Order Crossbow Tower, the 7 crossbow bolts that almost pierce the space have been drawn, waiting for a fatal moment. The 7th Order Thunder Tower is located in the void, and from time to time, there is a muffled thunder sound like a drum, which is deafening. Around the Thunder Tower, from time to time, there are strips of lightning that are as thick as buckets swimming around. Now, all is ready except for the opportunity. Open black lens bracket kobold collar close black lens bracket. Boom. Earthquakes. The whistling sound came from outside. Guan Anshan, who was eating breakfast, changed his face when he heard the sound, and with a touch of his hand on the corner of his mouth, he rushed out of the building fence with dozens of kobolds. Far away, hundreds of monsters from Tier 1 to Tier 4, Zerg. Out of the fog. Wherever it goes, dust is flying. Kill. Guan Anshan's expression darkened, his eyes swept across the monsters, and there was a trace of blood in his eyes. There are many enemies, but he is fearless. Holding a blue quality war knife, he took the lead and rushed towards the tide of rolling monsters. Dozens of kobolds of different ranks followed closely behind. Open black lens bracket dragon collar close black lens bracket. Building open black lens bracket stone wall close black lens bracket to restore the original. There was constant thunder in the sky. Stone wall. Qin Yi had an ugly expression on his face, looking at the rolling mist with a trace of worry and fear in his eyes. Now, he only has a few Tier 5 cloud dragons left. Barely supporting it, the rest of the newly summoned more than 50 new sub-dragons are only at the 1st level. He didn't know if he would last until the end of the trial. Suddenly, the mist rolls. Countless monsters and Zerg stepped out of the fog and rushed towards the dragon collar. See this scene. Qin Yi's face instantly turned pale. It's over. Elf collar on the city wall. Xiao Wanqing was dressed in silver armor, showing off her curvy figure to the fullest. At this time, her eyes were indifferent, she only looked straight ahead, and she held a 5th-tier blue bow in her hand. Next to it, hundreds of female elves with blonde hair of the 5th rank, all exquisite and beautiful, but with evil faces, without the slightest weakness of women. Has the color of a woman who does not let a man's eyebrows. Gray mist rolling. Huge green goblins, ogres, and wolf-man monsters rushed out of the mist with claws and teeth, and went straight to the elf collar. In the sky, there are densely packed Zerg races, each with blood-red eyes and purple-tinged sharp claws, exuding an evil aura. Get ready. Let go. With Xiao Wanqing waving her hand, countless sparkling arrows shot at monsters and Zerg. In an instant, dye half the sky red. Open black lens bracket beeman collar close black lens bracket. Han Li stood on a 100-meter high golden beeman, and the breeze blew and rustled. Surrounded by dozens of bronze and silver behemoths. His eyes scanned the gray mist. There is no worry in the eyes, even full of expectation. Come on, today I am destined to reach the top of the Tianzhou list, no one can stop me. Han Li's heart was surging, he opened his arms and embraced the sky. Today is the day when he stands above tens of millions of newborn lords and ascends to the top of Tianzhou. Boom. There is a sound in the sky. Countless monsters rushed out of the distant mist instantly. Charge. Give an order. Roar. One by one, the 6th rank bronze behemoth and the silver behemoth rushed forward on their own initiative. Huge body. Every step is a distance of tens of meters. The earth is trampled and cracked. Just for a moment. Both sides have met. Like two torrents converging, countless monsters were directly overturned. At the same time, in the alien trial, the remaining tens of thousands of lords all worked together. Various methods were used, and unprecedented strength broke out one after another. Just to fight for the top list. Outside, on the awakening square of Qingyan Middle School. At this time, there are huge crowds of people and it is extremely crowded. All eyes are on a virtual panel in the sky. The above are the points of the upcoming Tianzhou ranking. Based on the number of monster enemies killed. 1 point for Tier 1 monsters, 4 points for Tier 2 monsters, 10 points for Tier 3 monsters, 50 points for Tier 4 monsters. 100 points for a 5th order monster, 500 points for a 6th order monster, 5,000 points for a 7th order monster, and 10,000 points for an 8th order monster. The highest level is the 8th level, and the 9th level is not allowed to appear in the trial. Even at the 8th level, no one has ever encountered it. Thinking that in just 7 days, from a newly awakened rookie lord, he has grown to be strong enough to fight against the 8th level. This is no longer Tianzhou, but evildoers, so the 8th order monster is actually a symbol. The Tianzhou ranking will be ranked by the number of points, the more points, the higher the ranking. And those who watch from the outside world. Then you can not only watch the ranking of the Tianzhou list, but also check the Lord's points in the trial alone. On the high platform, a group of teachers sat around. Ms. Liu, why don't you give up the fragments of your godhead? Instead of using them to save you as a cripple, you might as well give them to the geniuses who are listed on the list of geniuses. Help them become gods. Even now, Qin Shang still does not give up on the fragments of the godhead. You look ugly, but you think you are beautiful. Lu Ruyan gave a smile and gave Qin Shang a blank look. I always talk about how outstanding your Qinyi is, but the Tianzhou list is not something that anyone can get on the list. Lu Ruyan laughed. Qin Shang smiled back. Oh, can't Qinyi make it up, but the plant department in your class can make it up. Although he didn't know about Suzy of the plant department, what methods did he use to persist until now? But after all, it is a plant system. Want to be on the list. Dream. TCH, a guy who looks down on people with a dog's eyes. Lu Ruyan was upset when he heard him belittle Suzy, so she stopped taking care of Qin Shang. HMPH, wait for Qinyi to be on the top list and after the hegemony competition is over, let him ask for it in person and see who the principal will protect at that time. Qin Shang smiled at the corner of his mouth and said lightly. His biggest hole card will always be Qinyi. The other teachers shook their heads. Once Qinyi is listed on the Tianzhou list, let alone the headmaster disagrees. Even the Education Bureau will exert pressure to meet his demands. Despicable. Shameless. Lu Ruyan clenched her shoe fist angrily, wishing she could punch Qin Shang's disgusting face. Okay, the points of the Tianzhou list will start to be displayed. Suddenly, above the chief seat, the headmaster appeared out of nowhere and stopped the farce from happening. But looking at Lu Ruyan's eyes was a bit regretful. Qin Shang, who had been watching the principal all the time, naturally discovered the meaning in the principal's eyes and was in a happy mood. Looking at the leaderboard with crazy points, Qin Shang found Qinyi immediately. Qinghai Middle School, Qinyi, 500 points. Close black lens bracket. And Lu Ruyan also checked Suzy's points for the first time. Qinghai Middle School, Suzy, 0 points. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Natural color. Close black lens bracket. Suzy frowned. Half a day has passed. But no monsters rushed out of the fog. It made Suzy almost doubt whether there was a 7th level assessment. Master, why are there no monsters today? The little goblin looked around and asked puzzledly. She also knew that today was the last day of the assessment, and also the craziest day. But at the moment their territory is quiet, it seems that something is wrong. I don't know what the Zerg are planning. Although Suzy was puzzled, he didn't relax his vigilance. At the same time, with a thought, a faintly fluorescent screen appeared. Open black lens bracket ranking close black lens bracket. Tianai number 1 middle school. Han Li, points, 30,000. Shinhei number 1 middle school. Bai Mengmong, points, 28,000. Sunny number 1 middle school. Qingyun number 1 middle school. Xiao Wanqing, points, 15,000. Comma. Qingyun number 1 middle school. Guan Anshan, points, 1,000. Comma. Suzy searched a few times. Discovered Xiao Wanqing, a high cold school girl. In just 1 hour, it has reached 15,000 points. Ranked very high. Suzy met her a few times at school. She looks beautiful, but she has a cold face all day long. Suzy doesn't like it. In addition, in order to prevent the teacher from misunderstanding, there is no friendship. But I heard that the template for this person's awakening is quite strong. At the same time, Suzy checked the brother-in-law, Guan Anshan. 1,000 points. Some surprise. Based on that guy's template, it's a miracle that he wasn't eliminated. Suzy didn't care either. They probably won't have much to do with each other in the future. Suzy suddenly remembered the first genius of the school, Qin Yi. But no matter how I searched, I couldn't find it. Shouldn't you be eliminated? Suzy thought of a possibility and was a little dumbfounded. The green quality Guan Anshan is still holding on, but the purple quality Qin Yi has been eliminated. Somewhat ridiculous. However, it can also be seen that the trial is impermanent, and no one dares to say that he will laugh at the end. Turning off the screen, Suzy waited silently. He doesn't believe it. That bug can never appear. Then he broke the rules set by Blue Star. The consequences are not something she can bear. Comma. In the mist, a group of empresses tens of meters long surrounded a huge crystal in the middle. Above them, on a huge throne, a Zerg queen who was only 4 meters long sat on it. Your Highness, the human lord has not let down his vigilance. A mother queen respectfully said to the Zerg mother queen above. Hearing this, Emma, who was sitting high on it, trembled with the tentacles on top of her head. She originally thought that when the human race relaxed its vigilance, give him a fatal blow. But that person seemed to be consumed with them. Just stand on the wall. Wait until the last hour. If he still doesn't relax his vigilance, then all the staff will go out. I don't believe that he can resist hundreds of Zerg mother queens and tens of millions of Zergs at once. At that time, heaven will reward you. I only need the human lord. Emma said in a flat tone, as if she was talking about a very common thing. But the Zerg empresses below all showed greed. Although they don't know what His Highness wants the human race to do. But as long as His Highness promises to fulfill their promises. Thank you, Your Highness. Many empresses thanked each other. In the corner of the Zerg queen, Alice was sweating coldly, and she didn't want to know what this Highness was doing. They are a bunch of cannon fodder. But now His Highness has no scruples to tell them the purpose. How can they survive? He raised his head and glanced up quietly, but, coincidentally, saw that His Highness seemed to be looking at her too. Gudong. Alice was sweating coldly on her forehead. Emma looked at the excited Zerg queen below, and sneered in her heart. Her cheapness is not so easy to earn. Now she has been promoted to the 8th rank. To be safe, she even found the ancestors of the clan to lend an artifact. It is used to imprison the void and prevent the human race from escaping. Then use the lives of hundreds of Zerg empresses and tens of millions of Zerg soldiers to sacrifice the world in exchange for the fatal blow of the artifact. She doesn't believe it. Under such an attack, the human race can still safely hide in the territory. At that time, he is like a turtle in a urn. There is no way to go to heaven, and no way to go to earth. Comma. Outside world. Qin Shang was dumbfounded. Looking at Qin Yi in a daze, he suddenly fell from the void. I feel a little confused. You shouldn't be coming out now. Could it be that he passed the assessment and didn't want to participate in the Tianzhou battle? Immediately, I was so anxious that I hurried to leave. Naturally, Lu Ruyan also saw Qin Yi who fell out. But instead of going there, she checked Qin Yi's information. There is no such person. close black lens bracket. Ruyan Lu. Lu Ruyan didn't react for a moment, she shook her head, and she thought of it immediately. Has Qin Yi been eliminated? Only those who are eliminated will be erased from the Tianzhou list. Thinking of Qin Shang's bragging in front of her before, Lu Ruyan couldn't help but burst out laughing with a poof. Several teachers around looked at each other, with a hint of disbelief on their faces. Qin Yi was eliminated. The middle-aged principal also had a strange look on his face, obviously a little surprised. He stared at Qin Yi in the square to see what he had to say. Lu Ruyan thought for a while, then smiled at the corner of her mouth. With vigorous steps, he walked towards the square unhurriedly. On the square of Qingyan High School, the dense crowd suddenly saw a person falling out of the void. The person's clothes were torn and his body was covered in blood. Unkempt hair. Who is that? Why are you out now? Huh, how come you look so much like our school's genius Qin Yi? You read it wrong, how can Qin Yi be so downcast? He looks like a beggar. In Qingyan High School, Qin Yi's talent and family are the most powerful. How could it be Qin Yi? The outsiders and students who watched around shook their heads, but no one believed it. Wait, look at the standings, Qin Yi is gone. Suddenly someone shouted, and immediately everyone started searching Qingyan High School, Qin Yi. As a result, the result was that there was no such person. Boom. There was an instant violent commotion among the crowd. As everyone imagines, Qin Yi, the genius of the Qin family, failed to pass the 7-day assessment and was eliminated. It's outrageous. Qin Yi, how are you doing? In the crowd watching, Qin Shang pulled Qin Yi up, and asked softly, frowning. Second uncle, take me away. Hearing the words of the crowd next to him, Qin Yi felt flushed and dared not raise his head. It is good. Qin Shang looked around and wanted to leave. Hey, isn't this our genius Qin Yi? Why is he here now? Did he get eliminated? Suddenly, a strange female voice came. From a distance, Lu Ruyan came slowly. Heard that. Qin Shang's face darkened, but there were discussions around him. Damn it, it's really our genius Qin Yi. I didn't expect to be eliminated. Yes, even Qin Yi was eliminated. This trial is too difficult. Oh, it turns out that our genius is someone who can't even pass the test. Isn't he just like us? That's right, it's still on the Tianzhou list. That's it. Ha ha ha, just now I thought it was a beggar. I didn't expect it to be Qin Yi. Sorry, our genius. As soon as Qin Yi's name came out, some people around him immediately ridiculed him. Usually Qin Yi is very domineering at school, offending many people by relying on the Qin family. Usually no one would dare to say it, but now Qin Yi has become an ordinary person like them. They still have the courage to sneer twice. Qin Yi's face turned purple when he heard these remarks, but he didn't dare to look up. Qin Shang looked around with an ugly expression, as if he wanted to find someone who was sleeping and talking. Hee, Qin Shang, is this what you call a genius? It's really amazing. The plant department in our class hasn't come out yet, but he came out first. What a genius. Leo Raven said bluntly. You. Qin Shang pointed at Lu Ruyan. He didn't expect to slap him in the face so quickly. HMPH, let's wait and see. After Qin Shang finished speaking, he disappeared from the spot. Waste. Lu Ruyan cursed, and then her pretty face turned into a smile. Unexpectedly, Qin Yi was eliminated, but Suzy could still persist. Ace is amazing. Suddenly, at the core of the square, there was a bright light. Next moment, a figure emerged. Guanan Shan. Hey, your kid is out. Lu Ruyan was surprised when she saw Guanan Shan, especially the aura emanating from him. Fourth tier lord, it's okay. Lu Ruyan nodded towards Guanan Shan, but she didn't care. As long as it's not Suzy, it doesn't have much to do with her. Seeing Lu Ruyan here, Guanan Shan was slightly taken aback, and then asked. Miss Lu, is Suzy out yet? Not yet. Lu Ruyan cast him a glance, then left, and continued to wait for Suzy to return. No, how is it possible? Guanan Shan didn't believe it, but he knew the difficulty of the trials inside. He almost failed, how could Suzy still be trying? He felt a little uneasy. Then he seemed to remember something and quickly checked Suzy's points. Open black lens bracket Qingyan High School, Suzy, points, 0 close black lens bracket. 0. After seeing the points, Guananshan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He knew that Suzy had a legendary defensive building in his hand. So he just hid in the territory, so he didn't have a single point. Thinking of this, Guananshan was both envious and jealous. If he also has a legendary building, maybe he can get more rewards. But, after all, only dare to hide in the territory. A trace of disdain flashed in Guananshan's eyes. Time passed by one by one. 22 o'clock in the evening. The sky was dark and the stars were shining brightly. At this time, in the entire Qingyan Middle School, only Suzy and Xiao Wanqing were left who were still undergoing trials. It's over. It's impossible for anyone from our Qinghai city to be on the list of the top talent this year. Not necessarily. Isn't there another elf? It's also a top-level unit, and you can see that she has almost entered the top 200. There are great expectations for this result. Yeah, but the other plant department has managed to persist until now, isn't it? The plant department doesn't even have attack power. How did he persist until now? Could it be that there are some powerful defensive buildings? Very likely. Otherwise, how could it be possible that the points are now 0? In the hiding place of the void, 2 women, one big and one small, are standing in the void. Xiao Qingluan asked, "Mom, do you think my sister can enter the Tianzhao list?" "I don't know, it's not so easy to get into the Tianzhao list." The affluent Lu Piao beside him shook his head. However, it's a miracle that the plant department has been dragged on until now. Suddenly, as if thinking of something, Xiao Qingluan said with a smile. The plant type has no attack power. It is already a miracle that it can persist until now. It is impossible to change any more. Lu Piao smiled and explained. 23 o'clock in the evening. Hey, my sister is in the top 198th. Xiao Qingluan suddenly jumped up and said. Top 100 in the Tianzhao list. That is a great honor. Lu Piao also showed joy. After all, she was her daughter. No, how is it possible? Suddenly, Xiao Qingluan yelled loudly. Mom, look quickly, that plant lord named Suzy, his points have started to change. I'm stupid, pervert. Lu Piao frowned, and knocked on Xiao Qingluan's forehead. No swearing. No, Mom, look. Xiao Qingluan was already incoherent with excitement, and showed the screen to Lu Piao. Lu Piao was a little helpless. This second daughter was just so playful. What's the need for such a fuss? It's just a plant type that doesn't attack. As for being so excited. But in order to take care of her daughter, she still took a look. Then, the pupils constrict. Damn, how is it possible? I saw that Suzy's points suddenly changed. Qingyan High School, Suzy, points, 100,000. Close black lens bracket. And this number, it is increasing at a terrifying rate. Xiao Qingluan glanced at her mother with a strange expression. Just now I said that the plant system will not change. Now it reaches 100,000 points in 1 second. It's just terrifying. And, she just heard her mother swear. As if realizing that she was wrong, Lu Piao glared at Xiao Qingyuan with her beautiful eyes. Her pretty face was a little blushing, like a shy 18-year-old girl, with the unique charm of a mature woman added to her innocence. Although thousands of years old. But for her to become a god, she is still very young now. Seeing my mother blushing a little, Xiao Qingluan was surprised. They are all people who have given birth to 2 daughters, how come they still look like an innocent girl? Blushing at every turn. Might as well be open with her. On weekdays, I like to talk dirty jokes with my sister in the boudoir. Every time, she could make the frosty and pure Xiao Qingwan blush. If you are not good, you will tease your mother again. Xiao Qingluan will look at Suzy's points again, with interest in his eyes. She was a little curious about the senior of the Department of Botany. Obviously, the change of Suzy's points will not only be discovered by the mother and daughter of the Xiao family. Ruyan Lu, who has been following Suzy for a long time, also discovered it immediately. Damn it, Brother Stinky, what are you doing in there? Lu Ruyan's bright and beautiful eyes became like 2 little lanterns at this moment. Gudong. Lu Ruyan subconsciously swallowed a mouthful of spit, a little unbelievable. The data in front of her clearly showed the change of Suzy's points. Qinghai Middle School, Suzy, points, 1 million. Just a minute. From 100,000 points, it has risen to 1 million points. This point has made Suzy break into the million. And it's just for a minute. In order to surpass tens of millions of people. Smelly brother, your surprise is a bit big, and my sister can't bear it. Lu Ruyan's complexion was pink, and she couldn't be more excited. Suzy can become strong. The happiest is her. She has no family, and neither does Suzy. When she came here 3 years ago, she immediately felt that she was destined for this child. Really, not only did he become her student, but the rental house of the two was also opposite. Come and go. Lu Ruyan and Suzy became the relationship of dry sister and dry brother. She naturally knew that her brother seemed to like her. She also likes the handsome boy who can make her happy. But after all, her domain is about to be shattered, she won't be able to last long, and she won't be able to accompany him for the rest of her life. When a person is about to die, his words are also kind. Lu Ryan only hopes that Suzy can live safely in this world. But this is a world of lords, where strength is the most important thing, and every day is full of countless struggles. Without strength, one can only be slaughtered and bullied by others. It's the same in any world. When Suzy awakened the plant department, she was so anxious that she asked someone to sell some units. Only in exchange for a blue defensive building for Suzy. I just hope that Suzy can become the lord, even if it is the weakest plant type. But, when Lu Ruyan saw the frantically moving numbers, where is this stinky brother's weakest plant type? The worst is a legend. Lu Ruyan smiled, like the warm sun in winter, a smile that captivated the city. She has never been happier than she is today since her realm was destroyed. Qingyun High School Forum. Look, everyone, Xiao Wanqing has entered the top 100. Really, there is still 1 hour left, and there should be no accidents. We will soon have a genius who will be listed on the Tianzhou list in Qinghai City. No, what are you looking at, Xiao Wanqing? Look at the points of the plant department. What's so good about the plant department? Isn't it 0? Someone was puzzled, and then checked Suzy's points. I'm stupid, I just read it and it still scored 0, how come it only took 1 minute to score 1 million? Isn't he a plant department? According to the fact that Tier 1 monsters only get 1 point, he killed a full 1 million Tier 1 monsters in a minute, are you kidding me? Changed, 2 million. No, it's 3 million. Crazy. Originally, Xiao Wanqing, who entered the top 100 points, should have received a lot of attention, but now everyone is shocked by Suzy's crazy numbers. And this change, also spread through the internet and some people, has been noticed by more and more people in a short period of time. Open black lens bracket natural color close black lens bracket. The night is dark, and the moon and stars are rare. But at this moment, the nature leads to the silence of everyone, and you can hear the needle drop. The air was so dense that it seemed to be mixed with water, making it difficult to breathe. Suzy stood on the steel city wall, his eyes were calm and he closed his eyes. He has been standing here all day. Suddenly, Suzy's star-like eyes opened instantly, and 2 flashes of lightning flashed away. Here we come. Ready to attack, Suzy said in a cold tone. To let him wait here for a day, these Zergs really deserve to die. Oh, why didn't I see it? The goblin who was massaging Suzy's temples behind her raised her head and looked towards the mist. But nothing was found. Suzy smiled, took her jade hand, and pulled her to him. Immediately, as soon as the voice fell, the mist rolled like a tide, and countless Zerg races, large and small, rushed out of the mist. Flying in the sky, running on the ground, and even under the ground, there were waves of disturbances. Within half an hour, break the territory of the human race for me, and I will celebrate for you when I come back. In the gray mist, following the order of His Highness Emma. Yes, the empresses nodded, their thoughts moved slightly. The insect soldiers of all ranks that had been prepared for a long time were ready to move. The moon is obscured, and the starry sky is obscured. Dark, depressing. The sky, wrapped in dark clouds, obscured the moon and stars. The whole world seemed to be plunged into darkness. However, the world tree and various buildings in the natural territory exudes a radiant light, covering the surrounding areas of the territory. Although it is night, it is like day. Above the sky, the dark clouds rolled over, revealing the densely packed worms inside that made people vomit, all of them baring their teeth and claws, with hideous faces, waving their wings and sweeping towards them. On the earth, each one is several meters high and more than 10 meters long, with an earthworm-like body wriggling on the ground at an extremely fast speed. The most frightening thing is that huge mouth full of sharp teeth, densely packed with large and small teeth, which makes one's scalp numb. There are countless similar Zergs, gathering like a wave, rushing towards the Steel City wall. This kind of enemy that will cover the entire battlefield as soon as it appears, even a high-level lord will have to be afraid of it. After all, when the number reaches a certain level, heaping can also kill people. But Suzy remained expressionless, his face calm as usual. For 7 days, after going through battles of all sizes, there was already a cold-blooded aura about him. Suzy is different from other lords. The arms of other lords are basically strong individuals, but not capable of fighting on the battlefield. But Suzy's arms are not, they are battlefield killing machines one by one. When the Zerg enters the attack range, Suzy waved his hand down without hesitation. Attack. As soon as the words fell, the P cannons, which had been impatient for a long time, fired dazzling, neutral bombs without hesitation. All guns are fired. The sky seems to be illuminated again, like thousands of little suns in the sky. The intense stimulation caused the Zerg rushing to the front to squint their eyes, and their speed was forced to slow down a bit. Then, before he could react, he was trampled to death by the rushing Zerg behind him. Next moment, neutron bomb collided with the Zerg army. Boom, boom, boom. Tens of thousands of neutron bombs exploded in the sky and on the ground. For a moment, the strong shock wave swept across all the Zerg in a radius of tens of thousands of meters. Call out. Countless Zerg uttered a scream of fear, and then their consciousness was completely annihilated. Gudong, gudong, gudong. ... In the mist, many Zerg Mother Emperors looked horrified, and they saw this scene clearly through the crystal. 1 minute, or how long, the overwhelming Zerg was wiped out. This attack, where is the plant department able to do it? It is the mechanical system. At this stage, Yanyi does not have such terrifying battlefield lethality. Where is this an attack? This is naked massacre. Their Zerg soldiers didn't even reach the territory on the opposite side, they were directly annihilated by the glowing shells one by one. The combat capability of the human race arms is simply too terrifying. Alice next to her was expressionless, as if she had expected all of this. It's okay, continue to attack, the attack of human arms is limited after all. Above the high position, Emma also looked a little surprised. With such a terrifying attack force, it is difficult for even the 7th rank powerhouse to survive. But the human race's arms are only at the 5th rank, and they have already crossed 2 ranks. This kind of potential arms is too scary. Never let him grow up. Thinking of this, Emma's heart was hardened. She looked at the many empresses in the audience, and made up her mind. Countless Zerg rushed out of the mist again. It seems endless. And Suzy watched with cold eyes. In the air, only the sound of rumbling guns, the roar of explosions, and mushroom clouds erupted across the entire battlefield remained. Flames are everywhere, and the flames of war are vast. The faces of Suzy and the goblin were flickered by the light. Outside world, star bright. On the square of Qingyan Middle School, countless people gathered, raised their heads one by one, and looked at the only name on the tall screen, Suzy. Originally, they had already rested, but they were woken up by relatives and friends, and rushed to Qingyan Square. Come here to witness the birth of a miracle. Everyone was holding their breath, quietly watching the crazily beating numbers. 5 minutes. Qingyan Middle School. Suzy, points, 5 million. Close black lens bracket. Break into the 1000th place in the standings. 10 minutes. Qingyan Middle School. Suzy, points, 10 million. Close black lens bracket. Break into the 300th place in the standings. 15 minutes. Qingyan Middle School. Suzy, with 10 million points. Close black lens bracket. Ranking. 97th. Boom. The moment he broke into the top 100, the entire square was instantly exploded by the raging crowd. 15 minutes. Breaking into the top 100. Senior Suzy is awesome. From now on, Suzy is my idol, and I will be a fan of him for the rest of my life. Damn, Suzy is against the sky. Is the plant department going to counterattack now? Rushing into the top 100, our city can suddenly produce two geniuses on the Tianzhou list this year. More than that, Suzy will continue to rush, top 50, even top 10. Be bold, I guess classmate Suzy will be able to top the Tianzhou list. Impossible, do you know who is number 1 on the Tianzhou list? It has been announced on the internet that it is Han Li from the Han family of the Great God family, who awakened a legendary unit, Beeman. And I heard that his family equipped him with a legendary weapon, arms. How is it impossible? There is more than half an hour left. What if Suzy can create a miracle? In the square, a group of people were arguing. Their faces were red and their ears were red, and there was a posture of fighting if there was a disagreement. On the high platform, Lu Ruyan's eyes were as charming as silk, and she held a glass of red wine in her hand, shaking it gently. She was in a good mood, very good. It's a pity that Suzy is no longer this time, so I can't drink with her. In a corner of the square crowd, Guan Anshan looked at Suzy's rising scores and rankings with tingling scalp. Snapped. Guan Anshan raised his right hand and slapped himself fiercely in the face. In an instant, his entire face swelled up. My mother was blind and went to blackmail Suzy. Guan Anshan was frightened. Originally relying on his green quality, after passing the trial, his scenery was boundless for a while. But now he is scared. Especially when I think of Suzy, who is sure to take revenge. Suddenly, his legs and feet were unstable and he fell to the ground. When Suzy comes out, what should he do? Vermilion bird collar. In the Shengsha Empire, it is relatively well known in the eastern region. Not only because of the territory. Gods are everywhere. The strength is considered top among the dozens of surrounding territories. It is also because of the enchanting lord of Vermilion bird, Wu Qingying. He is an upper god who is infinitely close to the god-king level. In just a few thousand years. As a commoner, then ignite the divine fire, cross the lower god, the middle god, and enter the upper god. Now, even soon to attack the realm of the king of gods. This terrifying advanced speed, looking directly at a group of old monsters who have been in the upper gods for tens of thousands of years and hundreds of thousands. It can be called the top evildoer that the human race has rarely seen for hundreds of millions of years. Now, in a magnificent and beautiful palace, a group of lower and middle gods stand on the left and right. Above high position, a woman in a red phoenix robe and a jade crown sits on it. Her long hair reached her waist, and her ink-like black hair fell straight down to her waist. Under the hair, is a pretty face as indifferent as ice, with a beautiful nose and cherry lips, and skin like snow. His eyes are as cold as a pool of clear springs on a snow-capped mountain, and his body has an ethereal and arrogant temperament. Underneath is the fair-skinned jade neck, with a pure and slender figure, outlining a concave and convex figure curve. The silent needle drop can be heard under the stage. Many gods who are enough to destroy the world outside are afraid to show their grandeur at this moment. Because of the supreme order, the spirit of the human race is turbulent, and there is a tendency to fight for the dragon. Therefore, His Majesty the Lords of all territories have come out of retreat. Participate in this newcomer trial in person. And they are now waiting for the final result. Suddenly, above the quiet hall, there was a sound of hurried footsteps, and a person dressed as a court lady came quickly. Hearing the sound, all the gods looked at the person who came. See your majesty. The woman first bowed her hands and then got up. A dossier appeared in her hand. Your majesty, Jontian Pavilion has noticed that there is an abnormality in the data of a new lord, and you need to give permission to view it. Wu Qingying nodded with a calm expression. Next moment, the dossier appeared in her hand, and with a sweep of her divine sense, all the information appeared in her mind. I also understand why the maid said the data was abnormal. Suzy, Plant Department. Wu Qingying murmured softly in her mouth. Gujing Wubo's expression suddenly flashed a wave of fluctuation, but it disappeared soon. Next second, Wu Qingying's gaze crossed countless spaces and landed directly on the battlefield of natural territory. On the battlefield, the sky has already been killed, and the sky is dark, like a scene of the end of the world. Zerg corpses piled up into hundreds of meters of mountains. But will soon be blasted to pieces by the flying shells. If you look at it now, we'll find out. At this time, on the extremely vast battlefield, the entire ground was firmly raised by nearly half a meter. It was the remains of the corpses of the Zerg. I didn't expect that the lord of a different kind that happens once in 10 million years would appear in my territory. Wu Qingying was a little surprised when she saw this scene. The lords of the human race often have a different kind of lord after thousands of years, and they will awaken some talents that ordinary lords do not have. These talents are strong and weak. The powerful one is like a supreme leader of their Shengsha Empire, who is said to be a different kind of lord. The weak ones are wiped out before they grow up. And the newcomer Lord Suzy below. He can do this at the stage of a rookie lord, and he can be called a monster. Her gaze immediately turned to open black lens bracket natural collar close black lens bracket. Suddenly, there was a sudden burst of dazzling light from the territory. Then, there was a sudden interest in Wu Qingying's expression. Because the entire territory disappeared from her sight. No matter how she looked, she couldn't see the territory. But the fired shells showed that the territory was still there. You know, he is a high god. That's right, it's much stronger than the last plant type. Wu Qingying couldn't help not being angry, but rather happy. The vermilion bird led to the emergence of alien lords. If he does not die, maybe there will be another god of the same level in the future. However, it seems to be missed. Her gaze suddenly turned to the void of the universe in the trial of the otherworld. The gods of the Zerg race are hiding in different dimensions outside the world, waiting for the opportunity to move. Thousands of years ago, that is also a plant lord, relying on the talent of devouring. Unscrupulous in Tianzhao's hegemony, but encountered the restrained Zerg. The result was killed and swallowed. That's the end of fate. And the Zerg also obtained the talent, and has become a high god in a short period of time, and is even preparing to attack the God King realm. No wonder so many Zerg gods are interested in him. This time, the Xiaoju Tianzhao battle is going to be lively, and the Tianzhao monsters of all races may be tempted. Wu Qingying seemed to see the future, the scene of countless Tianzhao and evildoers making moves. But the gods are not allowed to make a move. Wu Qingying's eyes turned cold, and she could ignore the rivalry among her peers. But if someone wants to use the big to bully the small, then she, the Lord of Vermilion Bird, will have a chat with the other party. Look away, Wu Qingying said solemnly to the audience, everything is normal, don't worry about it. Yes, the maid responded and continued. Jontian Pavilion discovered that the Zerg war zone in charge of our territory, the Zerg seems to have changed a bit, and many gods disappeared. I don't know where to go. Your Majesty, do we need to be alert? Go down and prepare. The territory has entered the first level of alert. Wu Qingying's beautiful eyes were deep, and she didn't know what she was thinking. The maid retreated, and many gods tried their best to check the information. Plant system. Can the plant system be so powerful? The points are rising too fast, and will soon surpass the Han family's Han Li. Ha ha ha, I'm afraid that the old guy of the Han family has a bad face now. He was still pretending in front of us a few days ago, find him for a drink later. Go together, go together. ... Open black lens bracket natural collar close black lens bracket. The world tree suddenly burst into a burst of dazzling light. Suzy raised his head suddenly, and an invisible light curtain covered the territory. What happened? Suzy asked suspiciously. Did someone attack the territory? World Tree said that there were gods watching the territory, and she blocked it. The goblin explained to Suzy. Is someone spying on the outside world? Suzy frowned slightly. Could there be Zerg gods watching here? Looks like you have to be careful when you leave. Boom. Suddenly, a huge sixth order praying mantis Zerg suddenly appeared in the sky above the territory. Two huge blades fiercely attacked the territory below. But it was accidentally blocked by World Asylum. Hey, it's because they couldn't beat them on the battlefield, so they started assassinating them. Suzy said, but not worried. Lord, please let me deal with him. Close black lens bracket. Xiaoju on the side transmitted voice to Suzy. It is good. Suzy nodded. Although both are of the sixth order, Xiaoju is not comparable to the ordinary sixth order. See, Suzy agreed. With a flash, Xiaoju appeared opposite the mantis in the sky. At the same time, a sword grass swung away. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.